Congresswoman, there have been so many reported new cases of autism that some people are calling it an epidemic. According to the statistics from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, in 1970, there was one case of autism for every 10,000 U.S. children. Today, that rate is almost 6 for every 1,000 child. The reason for this alarming increase remains unknown. Do you support additional federal research into autism?
I do, and this is where once again we're going to differ. Absolutely, these families not only have a personal tragedy on their hands, they also have an economic tragedy on their hands. And we know that the cost is absolutely tremendous. I got an earmark, and I'm very proud of it, for the University of New Hampshire to help the teachers work with the students with autism. This is an ongoing cost, both a personal cost to the families and to the communities, and also economic cost. And we have to find out what's wrong here. And the best way to do this is through research. And it's just not true that the people of Rochester, New Hampshire can put enough money together to do the research, or the people of Manchester, the people of Henniker. We are the United States of America, and we either believe in our ability as the United States of America to solve our problems, or we might as well pack up and go home, because we can't solve all of these problems just one community. It is going to require federal funding to help.
The Congresswoman just said that people in Rochester or Manchester can't afford to do this on their own. So what she's saying is that the government has to take the money from those people and do it for them. Again, it's the fundamental difference between myself and my opponent. Let me tell you what I did in Manchester in the legislative thing. Started the Manchester Marathon after about 50 years on hiatus. And you know what? We chose the Greater Manchester Mental Health Center as the recipient, the nonprofit recipient for any additional proceeds. We did two things. First of all, we talked about mental health in a positive, productive way through something that is physical, the marathon. And secondly, to date, we've raised more than $50,000 for the mental health center. That's important. I didn't take a taxpayer approach and take money from taxpayers to do it. I rallied the community to engage in this subject matter. Now, if we want to address, and 25% of the country is affected by mental health. If we see that same epidemic with autism, we ought to respond in the same way. And we are very used to that here in New Hampshire. And I believe that people in New Hampshire are very willing to put up their money. We are very generous people. And we are willing to put up our money for R&D. One of the dreams that I have is to have an R&D neuropsych center in Manchester, not taxpayer funded, but through raising dollars in New Hampshire and other places, so we can once and for all address neuropsych diseases in this country.
So you're saying you don't support federal research into autism, is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is right now we have a problem in front of us as a country. It is rising debt and deficit. We've got to deal with that issue. Government doesn't always have to be the solution. And the example that I use as mental health is exactly the same type of approach that we can take in
So your answer is no.
I've answered it.